Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gabby Vallandingham, and today's video is going to be about the 1940s. So if you haven't seen my previous video, I'm starting a series on this channel going through the different decades of movie history, starting with the 1930s and ending with the 2010s. And I will be telling you my favorite movies from each decade that I think everyone should see. The last video was about the 1930s, and this video is going to be about the 1940s. And this is starting to get more and more difficult because at like the 40s and the 50s, oh, that's going to be hard for me to pick what my favorite movies are, because that's like my favorite. The 50s movies are like my favorite decade of movies. Oh god, that might have to be a two-part video. So let's get started and go back to the 1940s. So the first movie we're going to talk about is from 1940, and it is The Philadelphia Story. When a rich woman's ex-husband and a tabloid-type reporter turn up just before her planned remarriage, she begins to learn the truth about herself. And this was directed by George Cukor, and it stars Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, and James Stewart. Now this is a really good movie. I really like this. And there's actually a movie from the 1950s called High Society that is based off of this movie, but that one is a musical version. This story is just like a classic love story and kind of love triangle, and it's a comedy. It's just such a sweet movie, and I think everyone should see it. And the three leading actors in the movie are just chef's kiss, top notch. The next movie that we are going to talk about is from 1941, and it is Citizen Kane. Following the death of publishing tycoon Charles Foster Kane, reporters scramble to uncover the meaning of his final utterance, Rosebud. And it is directed and starring Orson Welles, and the writers of the screenplay were Herman Mankiewicz and Orson Welles. This is considered the best movie ever made, but what I love about this movie is how it's filmed. The beginning of the movie is just like, I thought I was watching a movie from like the 80s or the 90s. It just does not feel like a movie that was done in the 40s. It was definitely before its time on how it was filmed, and the acting is great in it too. So I think this is a great movie for anyone that hasn't seen it, but actors and people that just want to be in the movie business specifically. I love this movie, and I think you all should see it. The next movie we are going to talk about is another one from 1941, and it is The Maltese Falcon. A private detective takes on a case that involves him with three eccentric criminals, a gorgeous liar, and their quest for a priceless statuette. And it was directed and written by John Huston, and it stars Humphrey Bogart and Mary Astor, and then a bunch of other people too. Rather than the next movie that we're going to talk about, Humphrey Bogart in this movie is probably my favorite. I think he's just so cool, and just, he knows what he's doing in this movie. And it's a great mystery whodunit sort of movie. Everyone should see it. It's a good classic movie. And now we are going to talk about 1942's Casablanca. A cynical American expatriate struggles to decide whether or not he should help his former lover and her fugitive husband escape French Morocco. And this stars Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. I don't think I need to say much about this movie either. It's a classic love story, and it's actually set during World War II. So that's kind of the reason that they need to get them out of French Morocco and that sort of thing. It's just a classic love story, and I think everyone should see this movie because it's so sweet, and it's just, oh, it's so good. Again, I'm gonna say it a lot. It's a classic. So yes, that is Casablanca. So the next two movies that we're gonna talk about are movie musicals. I love me some movie musicals. That's probably one of my favorite genres in movies in general. So the first movie musical that we're going to talk about is from 1944, and it is Meet Me in St. Louis. In the year leading up to the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, the four Smith daughters learn lessons of life and love, even as they prepare for a reluctant move to New York. And this was directed by Vincent Minnelli, and stars Judy Garland, Margaret O'Brien, and Mary Astor again. Now, I have to say, this is probably my favorite Judy Garland movie musical. Just the songs in this movie and just the feeling you get when watching this movie, like especially at Christmas. Oh, it's so good. I love this. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is actually in this movie, and it is very well known because of this movie, because of how Judy Garland sang it and the scene where she is singing it to Margaret O'Brien. It's such a sweet scene, and it puts a lump in my throat every single time I watch it. So it's so great. This is a very fun and bright movie that I think everyone would enjoy. A lot of the movies from the 1940s that are these like movie musical types are so like, it's the Technicolor. Like Technicolor is really great. I love me some Technicolor. Everything is so bright and lively, and all of the colors are just so vibrant. And I think that's one of the reasons that I like this movie too, because it makes me like tune into it more. So yes, I think everyone would like the colors, the singing, the dancing, the acting, just everything about this movie. I think a lot of people would enjoy. And the very last movie that we are going to talk about is from 1949, and it is On the Town. Three sailors on a day of shore leave in New York City look for fun and romance before their 24 hours are up. And this was directed by Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly, and it also stars Gene Kelly, Frank Sinatra, Jules Munchin, Ann Miller, and Vera Ellen. Now this movie, again, with the bright colors and the fun singing and dancing, this is just such a fun movie. It's just classic golden age of Hollywood movie musical, in my opinion, especially because of Gene Kelly, obviously. But Frank Sinatra, whew, Frank Sinatra in this movie, wow. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So this was actually a Broadway show before, and Leonard Bernstein was the composer for it, and his music with the dance numbers that Gene Kelly does, it's just beautiful. And just the music and the dancing and the acting, again, I'm just repeating myself. It's just a beautiful movie, and it's just fun and lighthearted, and I think everyone should see it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if it was kind of all over the place. My allergies are really bad right now, and it's hard for me to talk and like properly think because my nose is just so like ticklish right now, and it's just allergies, just so everyone knows. So if you like this video, please give it a like and a comment, and if you want to share it, that would be great too. And stay tuned for my next few videos, because I'm having a feeling that I'm definitely going to do a part 1 and a part 2 for this next decade, for the 50s. It's my favorite decade for film, and I know that there are going to be a lot of movies that I think everyone should see. So stay tuned for that, and let me know down below anything else you would want to see rather than this series. So yes, again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Bye!